Hi, I'm Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that focuses on musicians, authors, and interesting people. We like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. So sit back, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know. On board today, an incredibly talented singer-songwriter from Hamilton, Texas. She's hot on the Texas music scene and ready to take on the world. She's got some great music to share. I'm so glad to have her on my show. Presley Haile, how are you, dear?
I'm great. How are you today, Ray?
I'm very thrilled to have you on the show. Your music is sensational from the first time that it wound up in my in-basket to now. It's like, wow, this girl's got some talent. First, let's talk back about your early musical influences. I understand that you started singing in church and in school. And how did that shape your passion for singing and songwriting?
Yeah, so I tell everybody that I came out of the womb singing. My parents swore that I couldn't hold a tune in a bucket, though, until I sang. I got the lead in a summer camp church play. I was Esther, and we sang, and my parents thought it was just like a recording track. And ever since then, they've been extremely encouraging. And yeah, so my influences, my granddad started me out pretty strong with like Queen and Elton John and Willie Nelson, all those great guys. And my stepdad, Johnny, is into like a bunch of 80s hair metal, like Rat and Def Leppard. My mom and my biological dad, they were always into like George Strait and James Taylor and all the classics and stuff. So I've been all over the place.
Wow, you got a pretty diverse scene there. Yeah, that's always nice to see. I read that when your brother joined the military, that kind of kicked off a reason for you to pick up the guitar and pursue a career in music. Is that true?
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
All right, very good. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my brother, he picked up the guitar when he was 16. I was 14. And we just started like, he would play the guitar and I would sing the songs, and we would go to open mics right up the road in Hyco, Texas, and just sing Patsy Cline and Johnny Cash and stuff like that. And I really started enjoying performing. So whenever he signed up for the military, I was 16, and I was like, well, shoot, I'm a little familiar with the guitar. I might as well like get serious about it so I can continue to perform without him around. So
very good. I want to say thank you to your brother for serving the military. What branch?
He was Air Force.
Air Force. That's what I was. I retired Air Force. I did 20
That's
years.
Awesome.
Did 20 years in the Air Force. Tell him to stay in there. What is he doing in the Air Force, or where's he stationed? I'll give him a shout out.
So he was in Germany, and he's actually who Les was about. My brother, he passed away when I was 17.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm I didn't know we lost him. Oh no.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine.
Yeah, and that inspired you to...
he was stationed over there, and he loved it. He loved it so much.
Oh, well, our thoughts and prayers are with your family, and also he's up in heaven now, and he's probably, he might be steering your career. You think about that?
I think so, actually. I give a lot of credit to him.
Very possible. I want to thank your family for being a military family. I understand that the Joe Taylor Festival was a significant role in your musical career. That's where you debuted Mountain Daughter, isn't that correct?
Yeah. So my history with the Larry Joe Festival goes back, I swear, to like my entire growing up. So my cousin Clayton Landy, he has a band called Six Market Boulevard, or had a band. And they were huge in the Texas music scene when I was a kid and growing up. So I always heard about LJT Fest. And I was never allowed to go. My brother would sneak over there. And then he sent me a link one day when I was like, I think I was 17. And he was like, hey, like, they have this songwriter showcase. You should think about signing up. So I signed up, COVID hit, I made it in, but it didn't happen. So I was kind of grandfathered in. And so by that time I had met my boyfriend, Nick. So I was like, hey, you should go in it too. So we went it together. He won, of course. And you can do it multiple years. It's a really great thing, and like great for growth and networking and meeting new people and just making new friends and seeing new artists that you want to follow and get to know. So I did it the next year with Race. And we were both in the finals together, and that's whenever Nick and I had finished Mountain Daughter. So I was playing that song, didn't win, Race won, and we went to the festival that year. No, it was the next year. Oh my gosh, the story is so long. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
But,
no worries.
Yeah,
I love stories like this. I love the backstories on songs.
Yeah, so it wasn't the year that I wrote Mountain Daughter. It was the year after, where we played at LJT, and we became really great friends with Race, and he was playing with us. So it was during our set on the All Sub stage, I think, on a Friday. And I was like, hey, like, let's open, because Ray sang the harmonies on it with Nick. And yeah, that's when Shane Hollinger saw it and we met and he was like, that's great, So yeah, that LJT has done a lot of great for my career for sure,
Wonderful,
and
wonderful.
so many others.
How did you write Mountain Daughter? What's the story on composing that song?
Yeah, so I think it was back in 2021. A good friend of Nick and I's wanted to go elk hunting in Colorado. And so, like, I've only been to Colorado one time before that, and I was a kid, so I don't really remember it. So we went back, and I was super excited. It was in September, so it was gorgeous weather. And we stayed in Uncompahgre National Forest near Cimarron, Colorado. No cell service, no toiletries, no nothing. Like, we are camping for a week. And right at our campsite was gorgeous. So you could see like the bluff of a mountain, and there's this beautiful stream, like not 100 yards like from our campsite, so you could hear it at night. And it was like really close and great and shallow, so you could kind of wade through it and wash your face in the morning. It was freezing water. And one day we decided like go off the beaten path. And like Nick and I, our buddy was out hunting, so we decided to go walk. And like everyone, they tag those aspen trees and they're all like defaced and stuff. And I don't necessarily condone that, but I've never carved my name in a tree. And I knew I wanted to kind of do that. So we found this lone aspen tree, and it was also by that stream, the same one going by our campsite. And we just took out our pocket knives and carved our names in it. And it was really special because like I love Nick dearly, and like we've been together for almost 4 years, and I've never carved my name in a tree. So it was like a really special thing. And we went back to the campsite, and I kind of jotted out the first a cappella intro, and then we finished it later.
It is an absolutely gorgeous song. I say I love the harmonies. Who does the harmonies on it once again?
So it's Race Ricketts and Nick Brumley. They're singing the harmonies.
Very good. You're going to love this song. Get ready for this one. This is called Mountain Daughter right now from our good friend, Presley Haile, right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
My soul's buried beneath an aspen tree in Cimarron, Colorado. And it's bearing the name of my one true love, and a heart pierced by an arrow. It neighbors a stream, and it seems to me that it's flowing with holy water. Lord, I love Texas, God knows I do, but I know I'm a mountain daughter. Hurry up, honey, gotta get there fast. All I need is you and a tank of gas. Concrete jungle that's got no space is leaving me aching for the day we can hold each other by that mountain stream that's flowing with holy water. Lord, I love Texas, God knows I do, but I know I'm a mountain daughter. Colorado, stars above, I'll lay beneath them soon with the one I love. I can hear the river and the sparrows sing, calling me back home to the rural dream of building us a cabin and a life up where my soul's at home and my mind is clear. There's a short-haired pointer, a head of cattle, the kids are running wild. Lord, I love Texas, God knows I do, but I'm gonna raise a mountain child. Colorado, stars above, I'll lay beneath them soon with the one I love. peace fills our space. Lord, I beg of thee that for eternity we will be buried beneath that aspen tree in Cimarron, Colorado. The one that's bearing the name of my one true love, and a heart pierced by an arrow.
Great song right there. The song is called Mountain Daughter from our guest, Presley Haile. More great music from Presley in a few seconds, but I want to say thanks so much for tuning in to the Someone You Should Know podcast. We're heard on the World Wide Web on someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. Go there and you'll check out the recent news, our archive of more than 160 episodes. And also, if you happen to be visiting, please leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Now, according to Buzzsprout, the service that shares us to all the streaming platforms around the world, thank you so very much for tuning in. 2,100 cities in 85 countries. And we'd like to salute a couple in Presley's home state of Texas. So, Presley, these are all fellow Texans who listen to the podcast. We have Hurst, Texas, and Katy, Texas, and Keller, and Kingwood, and League City, and Louisville, and Lubbock, McAllen, and Odessa, just to name a few. Some of your neighbors listening into the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Good.
Thanks so very much for listening. It's available wherever quality streaming audio is available. Like I said, we're talking to our dear friend, the lovely Presley Haile. She comes to me from a mutual friend, Bradshaw Lambert, and Bradshaw and I go back 25 years or so. What's your story on working with Bradshaw?
Yeah, so I met Bradshaw at Downshift Riverside, I think, in Ruidoso, and Phil and Erica were there, and we just like got to talking. Super, super nice guy, and he's just been reaching out. We've just kind of been checking in with one another, and I think we're gonna try to meet up in the summertime for a show with Phil. But yeah.
Yeah.
No, Bradshaw's a great guy.
Yeah, I love him to death. Bradshaw, just going to send you some love through the wires here, buddy. Just want to say thanks so much for all you do for me and all you do for your musicians and such. Now, Cody Canada is a name that I know, and he's formerly of Cross Canadian Ragweed, and he noticed your video, and he started giving you a little bit of recognition and such. Can you tell us how you two kind of collaborated?
Yeah, so like I've actually never met Cody in person, but just hearing that he heard Mountain Daughter and was taken aback in a good way was huge for me because, again, like I grew up in Hamilton, Texas. I had family in the Texas country music scene. So we listened to a lot of Cross Canadian Ragweed, and I was a major fan. So just seeing him, like I had a chance to meet him a couple of times before he heard my song, and it was like, oh, I can't even go up to him. Like I'm fangirling so hard. So whenever I was told that, I about fell over. It was really cool, but yeah, just to be given love from someone that you've looked up for your whole life is
and especially cool. The fact that social media has played a part in so many new musicians' careers and such, because we didn't have this back when the original Someone You Should Know program was out. We did have the internet, but we didn't have, Facebook and YouTube. We did have, I think that we might have had YouTube at that time, but it's just amazing what is available to a new artist and such. Are you surprised on how social media has kind of helped your career?
Extremely, actually. So I mean, we've been grinding. I've been playing music since I was 16, so 5 years, and it's crazy. Like we meet a whole lot of people in shows, but social media alone makes it a lot easier for those people to keep up with you, for them to tell their friends about you and just stuff like that. But I don't know. I've never really had anything go viral, but the love on a few videos we have done, like with Mountain Daughter and Race and Nick and stuff like that, like I have been blown away by the amount of people who have just like stumbled upon it, sent me a message and was like, hey, like I'm from Colorado. I heard your song. Like I love this and stuff like that. And it was really cool for me to hear that it's actually getting out that way because like I want obviously Colorado to hear that song, but I never knew if it was going to get out there. So yeah, social media is a very powerful tool if you know how to utilize it. And I'm learning every single day. I'm trying to get better. But yeah, it's great. It's really great.
That's amazing. I spent several years in Colorado. My son lives there now. He lives in the Colorado Springs. I was on the radio in Colorado, and I love that area. Every weekend we would take the kids into the mountains. And you were talking about going elk hunting. We went to a bow hunting jamboree in Leadville, Colorado. which is, I think,
Nice.
10,000 feet up. And you're talking about beautiful and camping and everything. Oh, yeah, it's breathtaking. It's so beautiful. You know, it's like every place you turn around is a picture postcard. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The next song we're
Yes.
going to feature is my personal favorite. It's called Less Lonesome. I love the chord progression on the song, the flow of the song. I think you started to tell us a little bit about the backstory of the song. Can you once again reiterate that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was early March last year. My late brother's birthday is on March 3rd, and there was the Fort Worth Music Fest here in Texas. So we did that, and it was a great weekend. I stayed up talking with like some good friends and just not being sad, but like pretty reminiscent, being like, man, I really wish he was here, and just like getting, taking like whiskey shots and having too good a time. And the next morning it was time to go home. We're packing up and stuff, and I got downstairs to lick my wounds and take a shower, and I'm just kind of like staring, like I took a shower and kind of staring at the tiles and the water drops, and I'm like, damn, like it'd be really cool like if I could just call you right now. Like I know I can talk to you whenever I want, but I want to call you and tell you why this was such a great weekend. So it's not like a sad song, it is a sad song, but I was really upset that I couldn't just talk to him,
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like I'm so mad about comes from. And it just like went through different scenarios that I've had with grief and stuff like that.
Yeah, grief is
But, yeah.
grief is very, very tough. I lost my wife in 2018, and we were married for almost 40 years. And it's
Yeah.
amazing how you'll be fine, and all of a sudden something will tug at your heartstrings, especially music, because music was such an important part of my late wife's life and mine. And being on the radio for 40 some years, it kind of grabs you, especially when you hear a specific song. Now, I'm married to a lovely lady now who music is very much part of our lives now. We go out to venues all the time, and she's exposing me to the music that she loves, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what music can do. It can heal you, and it could also knock you back down a couple steps. So this song is just very, very good. I absolutely love this song, and I know my listeners are going to love it too. Less Lonesome from Presley Haile on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Finding faces in the bathroom tiles, constellations from the water drops on the glass. I never knew that I could feel self-pity. Whiskey don't sit well with me, I guess. Spent the night in conversation with redundant explanations, because I know the reasons why it had to end. But I'm so mad about learning to survive without you being around. Liquor clouds my mind until I can't speak a sober word. The thought of you will always burn between my ears. It doesn't
That's just playing good music right there. Less Lonesome from Presley Haile on the Someone You Should Know podcast. Presley, what's going on for late spring and early summer? What's that look like for you?
Yeah, so late spring, we will just be done with LJT Fest. We're going to be gearing up to go on a decently sized tour we're going up to Oregon. So we're playing the Jackalope Jamboree in Pendleton, Oregon in late June. So we're going to be driving up through Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, and then, so on up to Oregon, and then cutting across and coming back down. So yeah, we're still working on that, and we're a little bit nervous because it's like our first big one. We're tackling it. We're staying strong.
The Texas music scene is incredible, though. If anyone's outside of Texas and never has gone and been a part of things that's going on, like maybe one of my favorite venues was going to Billy Bob's in Fort Worth. And I know Cody played that place umpteen thousand times. Then you got South by Southwest in Austin. You've got all those great things right in the Houston area. And the area that you're from, which we mentioned earlier, Hamilton, Texas. What's the Hamilton, Texas music scene? Are you the Hamilton, Texas music scene, or is there a thriving in that
Pretty
general area
much.
too?
For a tiny town, I think we have like 3 pretty solid musicians for Hamilton, friends of mine. And so Hamilton is actually doing pretty good. There's population 3,000 here. Mm-hmm. But Heiko has a great music scene right up the road. Mm-hmm. And Gatesville also has a great music scene. And Evant has a little bit of a music scene, just as far as like musicians living in the town. Mm-hmm, right. And Stephenville is really like the biggest one, though. Stephenville's like 45 minutes headed north. And that's where the LJT Music Fest is and stuff like that. But they have a huge music scene.
We mentioned social media and how important it is to your life. And we want to follow what's going on with you with your tour and additional music. How about links to your socials?
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram is Presley Haile Music. That's Presley like Elvis, Haile like the weather, but with an E on the end, and music. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is Presley Lynn Haile, Lynn with 1 N. But yeah.
Very good. Well, we'll do is include those down in the show notes, so anyone who's happened to be listening and wants to know exactly how to stay in touch with you, they can do so by just checking out our show notes here. We mentioned Ray Ricketts several times earlier in the show. You actually collaborated with him, and you're doing backing vocals on one of his songs called You Don't Deserve Writing a Song About. Can you tell us about this song?
Yeah, so whenever Ray showed me that song, gosh, I think it was before the LJT that we played Mountain Daughters. So we were just starting, like, he was getting really close with Nick and I, and we were like, man, like, you're our pal, we're going to have you around forever, So we were like really getting close and showing each other our songs and whatnot. And he showed that song to me. And at first, when he showed it to me, he didn't know what he was going to do with it. He didn't know, like, I think he knew he was going to cut it, but it wasn't a duet at that point. And he just played it for me. And I was like crying. I was like, that's such a good song. And like, I knew what it was about. And I was like, gosh, like, that's awesome. Like, you hit the nail on the head, And it got time to him recording. So actually, him recording and like bringing me in to sing that duet is how I met my producer in the studio that I record at now. And we went in, it's at the Zone in Dripping Springs. The producer is Pat Mansky. And I met them and they thought I was 12. And I was like, not 12. And it was really cool, but they brought me in. I was so nervous. I think we did a few takes and they were like, it's great. Like, we love it, And there's like that note at the end where I like kind of interrupt him, like, no, you don't deserve writing a song about. And gosh, I just could not get that timing right. And we were just like beating our head against the wall, be like, it's this timing, just come in too early. And we finally got it, but I was so relieved, and I just loved working with them. I love working with Race, and yeah.
All right, we're good. We're going to hear that song. It's a song with Race Ricketts called You Don't Deserve Writing a Song About, right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
I can ponder all the happy things that made you smile so wide, or all the warm and fuzzies that you made me feel inside. Or I could wander these lonely streets at night and call your name, run my feet and voice so ragged, have none but me to at you winning, babe. Oh, at you winning. But I could sing a million pretty melodies for you, or I could scream ugly truth until my lips and lungs turn blue. Ooh, I could sing how I don't need you, or how I can't live without, but I don't think that you deserve writing a song about. No, I don't think that you deserve writing a song about.
Well, I get stronger. Every day's a gift. I get to know myself. Not the stranger that you made, whose heart you put upon a shelf. I hope you're honored, claiming home inside these lines against my will. A prisoner to the pages that I swore you'd never fill. But I won't let you, babe. No, I never will. I could sing a million pretty melodies for you, or I could scream ugly truth until my lips and lungs turn blue. Ooh. I could sing how I don't need you, or how I can't live without, but I don't think that you deserve writing a song about. No, I don't think that you deserve writing a song about.
Wasted ink and wasted chords, played out lines and metaphors. Same refrain I've sung before. You ain't worth the words no more.
No, you ain't worth the words no more.
But I could sing a million pretty melodies for you, or I could scream ugly truth until my lips and lungs turn blue. I could sing how I don't need you, or how I can't live without, but I don't think that you deserve writing a song about. No, I don't think that you deserve writing a song about. No, I don't think, I don't think, I don't think, no, I don't think that you deserve writing a song about.
Great song! One of Race Ricketts' songs. It features Presley Haile, who is our guest on the Someone You Should Know podcast. Presley, the next feature is one of my favorites. It's called Tales from the Road. Those are those infamous road stories where things didn't go quite as planned. You get to the venue and you realize the venue no longer exists. Or you get to the venue and you plug in and the amp blows or the power blows or your band members don't show up or something like that. Can you give us your Tales from the Road?
Yeah, so one of my most stressful experiences, like just so much like pressure and anxiety and anticipation, it was Rhymes and Vines back here in the spring or the fall. So Larry Joe has this thing called Fall Fest, and that's Rhymes and Vines. It's basically like a more intimate, more tame version of Big Fest in the spring. So we were doing that in the fall, and Mountain Daughter was like getting traction on the radio. We didn't know if it was going to like become #1 on the ranch music charts or not. So we were like kind of nervous, but we weren't worried about it. We were just going to do our show and get done. But there was a lot of pressure. I was very excited, but I was so nervous. So we get up there and I have my guitar that I've had. I love this guitar. I almost checked the battery, but I didn't. So we plug it in, getting nothing. And we're like running late and they're doing very quick like turnarounds. We're like, you got to go or your set's going to get cut short. And we're like, we don't want that. We want a full-size set. We plug the guitar in, nothing. Nobody has a battery. There's no time to change it. So I'm trying not to freak out on stage. So Nick hands me his guitar, and Larry Joe hands his guitar to Nick. So there's that problem. But now I'm playing a guitar that I'm unfamiliar with, and I'm like, gosh, I hope I don't fumble around because I finger pick a lot. I'm like, ah. And then right before we start, Larry comes out holding a plaque, and it was Mountain Daughter #1.
Wonderful.
And Shane Hollinger, yes, and Shane Hollinger was there. He went up before us, and he talked about us and how he met us and how much he loves us. And then, because like this is a day before Sunday where we're supposed to find out, and Shane got Larry to know early. So they come out with this plaque, and so now I'm trying not to cry after all the stress of like my guitar not working. But we get on there, we did the set, but oh my gosh, it was so stressful. But yeah, like that's one of my biggest, just like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy like things went okay.
And in her guitar case, she has multiple batteries, right? Isn't that right?
Yes, I do. I have like a handful now, at least 2, where I'm like, okay, this will not happen to me again. And before a big show, I always check it. So yeah, that's happened to me twice on stage.
We had a friend of ours do exactly the same thing. He played a gig a couple weeks back, gets up there, plugs in, nothing, absolutely nothing. He goes, I always check the battery, and I didn't do it this time, and sure enough, it let me down. But he decided to just pick up another music stand, put it there, and just played right there. So it was just a different way of doing so. It wasn't nearly as good, but it still worked. Let's talk about final thoughts. Anything else we should know about Presley Haile that we don't already know about you?
I am releasing an album in June.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting. I'm very excited. It'll be my debut album. We're going to get it finished up.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully it'll be in the mastering process by the time this gets out there. But yeah.
Check out her social media. It's in the show notes once again. I'm sure we'll post something about that. And follow this lovely lady. If she's coming to a city near you, stop what you're doing. Make sure you get yourself some tickets and go see her. Final song we're going to feature is New Mexico, which happens to be right next to Texas and right below Colorado. So we're getting those states there. What's the story on New Mexico?
So actually, New Mexico was one of the first songs I ever wrote when I was 17, 16, somewhere around there. And that was when my brother was stationed in Germany. So we always took a trip to Ruidoso when I was a kid. And my mom was like, no, we're going to save to go to Germany, like in the wintertime. And I was like, that's fine. But I really wanted to go to New Mexico. So I wrote that song and I played it for them. And they're like, well, I guess we're going. So that's where that song came from. It was just me throwing a fit,
It was a protest song.
Yes, it was a protest song.
A personal protest song, a family protest song. Well, we're going to close this show with that. And Presley, I really and truly thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for having me.
There's a whisper in the wind that makes me wanna go watch sunsets in the mountains of New Mexico. When I close my eyes and breathe in, I can smell the sweet pine trees, flowing trout-filled rivers is where I long to be. Take me back to where I can touch the clouds. Take me back to where I never feel down. faint scent of fresh fallen rain. Take me back to where I can touch the clouds. Take me back to where I never feel down. Take me back to where I can touch the clouds. Take me back to where I never feel down. Now it's been a few years. I miss my second home. I left my soul in the mountains of New Mexico.
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for tuning in to this episode of the Someone You Should Know podcast. Before I go, I want to share some friends of mine who also have a podcast. Give them a listen, and I invite you to check us out next time right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast. All right, here's my friends right now from the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike
with the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast, coming to you from the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66 in Joliet, Illinois.
where once a week we are interviewing local musicians and singer-songwriters. And the podcast itself covers a wide range of topics, including, but not limited to, the history of rock and roll in Chicago, the current state of the scene, and the challenges and opportunities facing musicians today.
So join us every Tuesday for a new exciting episode of the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.